Good morning, everybody. Mike here with Tri Delta. We are at 45 degrees, third week of May. Going to see a high of 57. We are in a race against the rain. We're going to be changing out a condensing unit this morning, so stay tuned. Let's see if we can beat the rain. We're going to have to disconnect the condenser. I've already recovered the refrigerant. I think I'm going to save these spacers. They come in pretty handy when you need them. Okay, now how do I get this in here without destroying the plant life? I'm not going to be pulling a vacuum on it today. I could put it sideways. Let's see, how flexible are we here? Pretty flexible. Well, let's just, I guess, give it a try. I don't know if I should be proud of that or ashamed. Looks like I'm a little bit high on the right corner. We're looking pretty good front to back. Little high in the corner. And pretty good front to back. See, now from this angle, because I'm on higher ground, this totally looks like the front end is dipping, but it's spot on front to back. Yeah, we're a little bit high. Man, just a hair though. Okay. I think that was more difficult than it needed to be. I do not normally do this, but we're going to put the liquid line filter dryer outside. Alright, so we're trying to get a bend in the liquid line. I would like to put a 45 right in here. Guess we're gonna see how that goes. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that right about. This plant is getting completely in my way. There we go. Only get the damn thing off now. 45 might have been a little, no, that was good. I want to bring it here. 45 might have been a little too much. Get a little tweak. And we're going to cut it right about there. And then we're going to prep it. Alright guys, looks like I am not going to really beat the rain. The wind's picking up pretty good. Radar has... I've got about a half an hour before we get hit with this big rainstorm. So, well, it looks like light rain, so it's not really like a thunderstorm or anything. But either way, I don't feel like getting wet today on a 40-degree day. Okay, so here's where we're at. I still need to change out the disconnect, change out the whip, connect the low voltage. I've finished brazing the unit. We need to pull a vacuum on it. I need to release the refrigerant, run it through a bunch of tests, and this thing will be ready to perform. So stay tuned. What will be a couple of seconds for you might be days for me, so I'll get back with you. I think where we last left off is I was trying to beat the rain, getting this condenser installed, but unfortunately I didn't quite make it. We got rained on a little bit, but what we're going to do today is I am going to replace this disconnect. We're going to replace the whip. We're going to wire in the low voltage, wire in the high voltage. Alright, we got nothing. This is a 60 amp non-fused disconnect. Prior to the installation, I tested the breaker and we are at the proper size for this new unit. So I can use a non-fused disconnect, which is what I prefer anyway. Right here. I think I'm going to go with the 90 on this side and the straight fitting on the disconnect. Punch in the bottom. Yeah, I like that a whole lot better. Yeah, that's about as solid as I'm going to get it. So regarding the whip, same thing with the Diversitech. The only difference, well, not the only difference, but what I should say is I prefer the metal ends over the plastic. I've stripped the plastic threads before. I mean, it's obviously user error, but I would prefer not to even have to worry about it. Currently, what is it currently? What is it? 55 degrees here in Lansing. So this Diversitech is a little stiff. I'm not sure what it is in other states, but here, any high voltage line, we have to make sure that it's either black or red. One of the acceptable ways of letting people know that it's a high voltage unit, I can wrap it with tape, I can color it with the marker. The marker might wear off over time, but you know, I know that it's acceptable to most of the inspectors, if not all. I mean, obviously I haven't had an opportunity to talk with them all, but the great thing about the state of Michigan, again, I don't know what it's like in other states, but we are all on the same code. And that code is ran by the DLEG and the Bureau of Construction Codes. So now anybody can tell that this is a high voltage line, and hopefully they won't get bolted by messing around with it. They shouldn't be messing around with it regardless, but you never know. There we go. Okay, so we're 5 minutes in, and it looks like I'm sitting at about 282 microns and climbing down or moving down. Okay, so what I think we're going to do is we're going to call this one, we're going to isolate the vacuum at the T. Then we're going to watch this. Alright, so we'll check it out in another 10 minutes. Okay, so now that we have the micron gauge isolated, we're going to release a little refrigerant.
And then I'm going to proceed to put the core back in place.
Oh, that was anticlimactic. Normally when I install a furnace, I intentionally leave the low voltage side disconnected from the furnace when I know that I'm going to be installing an air conditioner in the spring. So in this case, I left the low voltage wire disconnected from the board, and I simply forgot to put it on before trying to start it up. So let's try it again. Let's see what we got. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to let that sit for about 15 minutes, and we're going to determine what we got going on for refrigerant charge. We're going to let it balance out, see what's up with what. What's the temperature in Delta Township?
It's about 79 degrees in Delta Township, Michigan.
So I'm sitting at 17.8 degree Delta T. I like the temperature differential. My subcooling is low. My superheat is, it's getting close. But my subcooling is really low. My pressures are way off. According to the manufacturer, I should have 140 on the suction side and somewhere near 280, 285 on the liquid side. So I'm still, I think I'm a little low. Okay, so we're about a half an hour later, and I've overshot my mark a little bit. It's still starting to fluctuate. It's still continuing to fluctuate, but my target subcooling is at 11, and my liquid pressure is looking good. My suction pressure is a little low. My superheat's okay. My temperature differential is sitting at 19.4. I really like to see that. I'm going to give this a couple of more minutes and see if I can't get it to stabilize. But I think we're pretty much good on the refrigerant charge. Yep, I'm going to call this one good. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, I got one more quick thing before I go. Let's take a look and see how this new core depressor works. So we're going to go ahead and release the core. And we should be able to take the unit off with little to zero refrigerant loss. Yep, just a little bit of a spray, we're good to go. Not too bad. Worked out well.